Today's episode is brought to you by Sugaring LA in McKinney, your go-to spot for beauty that makes you feel confident and cared for. Whether you're looking for expert sugaring, skincare, or just a little self-care moments, they've got you covered. Treat yourself today. You deserve it. Check out Sugaring LA in McKinney or click on the show notes below for deals, promos, and discounts. Thank you, Sugaring LA, for sponsoring this podcast. Okay, I seriously love hosting this podcast. And one of the biggest surprises has been the amount of support that we have received from all of you, our listeners, and our amazing sponsors. We have partnered with Promise Grounds, a Texas-based company that also supports global mission by giving clean water ounce per ounce. They provide everything in our studio, from K-cups to fresh coffee beans to all of these adorable cups that we use on set. One of my favorite things to do is personalize each of these cups and recite scripture over our guests before we start recording. If you want to check out these adorable cups and some amazing coffee, click on the link below in our show notes and check out Promise Grounds. Click on the link below in our show notes and check out Promise Grounds. Hi guys, welcome back to Unfiltered Grace and Truth. I am actually recording today in San Diego, California. We have made the trek here and we have a couple recordings that we're going to do while we're here. And our first guest today is Dr. Lisel from California.
Yes, born and raised.
Are you? Native.
Yeah.
So she's a native. If you're watching, hopefully you can see this adorable bump that she has. If you're not watching, you guys need to check it out live. This is the cutest little baby bump. She's dressed so cute. And this is actually our first time meeting. So we're just going to kind of talk. And I would love for you to kind of explain. You're a chiropractor.
Yes.
You have your own practice.
Yes.
And it's in Solana Beach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
you got it.
Yes. Tell me, I love Pizza Port.
Oh, it's across the street.
Okay. That was the first place we went when we got to San Diego.
You could walk right on over, get adjusted real quick, and then go get some pizza.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So tell me how you got into chiropractic care and started your own practice. Like, give us the story behind.
I love talking about it because it's not a straightforward line. It goes all over the place. Born and raised in San Diego, played tennis my whole life. I was telling the girls, this was where my first job ever was at this pro tournament here. It used to be called Toshiba, this pro tournament. And I was 14 years old and already like a ball girl and a scorekeeper. And just, I remember seeing the Williams sisters walk in front of me. And I played tennis my whole life. So I thought, I'm just going to be injured. And that's my buy-in. And that's what I have to do. I have to sacrifice my body to be a competitive athlete. And so I ended up getting a full ride scholarship to college. Was about 19 years old and my body already started breaking down because I started tennis when I was 4 years old. And it wasn't like, oh, you're going to play for fun. It was my job from age 4 to age 21. So when my body started breaking down in college, there's a little bit of help, but it goes to the football players and it goes to the basketball players. The tennis team didn't get much attention. And so when I had neck pain, when I had anxiety, when I had depression, it was like, good luck, girl. I remember going on Ask Jeeves or something like old school.
Which is old school ChatGPT, and you had to read articles. It's
Yes.
not a thing you probably don't have anymore.
The internet was like not what it is today. Looking for a chiropractor in Idaho where I went to college, and I just didn't see anything appealing to me. Websites were not the way they are nowadays.
Yeah.
So I just didn't even go to the chiropractor. Not until I moved back to San Diego, already beat up and already on pharmaceutical medications and, went through the ringer of just a really bad experience with, traditional or like medical care. Did I go to a chiropractor and they told me, hey, I think all these symptoms, including my pain, including my anxiety and my depression, are coming from your spine. And that was just a taste. And thank God for that chiropractor, because he introduced this idea to me that, oh, maybe I have some control over my symptoms. Maybe I have some control over who I choose as a care provider.
Like kind of giving you permission to be an advocate.
Yes.
For your own body, to say
Totally.
like, yes, this hurts and I don't want to fix it. I want to get to the root cause. Which
Right.
a lot of times women don't know how to advocate for their body and they don't know what to advocate for. But it's like, well, if I wait long enough on this antidepressant, I probably won't be depressed. I'll either need a higher dose or struggle the rest of my life to get off of it. But right now it'll solve the problem. So let's go for it.
Exactly. That word advocate, I didn't even know really what that truly meant. So that was my first introduction. And then a few years later, one of my girlfriends was in chiropractic school, and she invited me on this fun trip with a bunch of her classmates. And they were all so passionate and so gung-ho about chiropractic and had this unique lifestyle that I was kind of interested in, but hadn't dived in yet. And at the end of that trip, I was like, I'm going to go to chiropractic school too. So I moved to LA 3 months later, started chiropractic school, and it literally changed my lifestyle. It changed my life, but it changed my lifestyle for the better.
Right.
Like the way I raise my baby, the way I have my baby, the way I look at the world has changed because of chiropractic.
Yeah. And so that makes you a better advocate for your patients as well.
Exactly.
So you're now promoting for them to say, hey, you know what, if this isn't right. So I've had some really cool experiences with chiropractic, and you'll love this, but I had an eye twitch for about a month. And my C2, which is like my second vertebrae down, I have an awesome chiropractor in Austin.
Love it.
I went to him and I'm like, dude, my eye is twitching. And then it turned bloodshot. And he's like, yeah, your C2 is out. And probably within 2 hours it stopped and it hadn't come back.
Exactly.
And I was like, chiropractic? I went to the the eye doctor, whatever they're called. I went to like my PC. I was like, okay, maybe I have like an allergy or something's wrong. He's like, no, your C2's out. And I was like, I look at this little chart on the side of the thing where your vertebrae connects to different organs. And there it was, like my eye. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so, he's like, you'll be better in 2 hours. If not, come see me tomorrow. And I was like,
we call that
crazy
chart of effects. It's your autonomic nervous system. And it's so, the funny thing about chiropractic is it's so anatomy based, so science based, but for some funny reason, people don't believe that sometimes. They think, chiropractors are, you know, they have their ideas out of nowhere. No, we're literally looking at your spine, the nerves that travel in between each bone in your spine, and where that nerve lands. So if that nerve lands on your eye and that nerve is being pinched by one of the bones in your spine, well, then your eye's not going to be working properly. And so thank God you have a good chiropractor and he fixed it real quick.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Who is it?
His name is last name Pittman, Micah Pittman in Austin.
Nice.
620 chiropractic. He's amazing. I go see him every time. He's like, oh, you're in town. I'm like, yes, sir, I'm in town. And we're here to see you. And then I had another chiropractor in Austin, and his thing was he's had more patients before me, but his slogan is, my chiropractor got me pregnant. And I say that my chiropractor got me pregnant. His name was Cash Lewis, and his wife and him went to our church at Zayo. And I was having a hard time getting pregnant. And so I had Oakley, my oldest, who's 9. And then I lost 3 in between. And after that third loss, I was like, all right, Lord, I'm either going to have another baby or I need to figure out my lifestyle. But I started a Bible study. I hired a nutritionist. I started going to chiropractic care like 3 times a week. Like it was it was like more important to me than exercise to get my body, because my neck was hurting. I was feeling, and he said there was a little twist in my lower body, and they did that, like that yank. And he's, you know, they would pray over me. And I just I took every part of my life. I have chills. Every part of my life that I could control. And again, chiropractic has that component of what we can control. And a control freak should really evaluate chiropractic care because it's something that we can control. And so I went in weekly, you know, 3 times a week. And I finally got pregnant. And it was like, I walked into my master bedroom, and this was in Austin, and I could smell the dirt in my plant. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking a test. I'm taking a test. And then I was terrified, of course, because I had lost. So the getting pregnant part wasn't the problem. It was staying pregnant. And that's why everything that I had done, the eating healthy, the chiropractic care, like all of those things that I had implemented were critical to sustaining the pregnancy. You know, and so we come into infertility with different areas of struggle or issues. You know, it could be our body, it could be the sperm, it could be, you know, anxiety and depression. I don't feel like that's a natural place for a body to feel comfortable to procreate. And a lot of times people are like, oh, just relax. It's like, shut up. Yeah. Don't tell me to relax. I'm so stressed. I want this so bad. Right. I can't relax. But we can do things that we have control over and that we can manage, and kind of allowing our body to be manipulated in a way that it's fully functioning. Like when my kids get sick, I get adjustments for them.
Exactly.
It expedites their immune system so they can heal naturally. So I think chiropractic care is really misunderstood, maybe in a secular or like in a pharmaceutical world, because it takes longer, right? It's not like I can give my kid Tylenol and her fever will go away. I can also get her an adjustment in 24 hours. Her body has created the fighting ability and the immunity to fight that infection and therefore make her stronger in the long run.
Definitely.
So is that what you see a lot in your practice? It's like, we want immediate. We don't want time. We don't want cures. We just want resolve.
Right. And honestly, thank God that you had that good experience with multiple chiropractors, because the funny thing is sometimes after an adjustment, the results are immediate. For example, this 9-month-old baby had an ear infection. Just over the week, my associate adjusted his C1, the bone on top of C2. And the next morning, mom said, oh, he doesn't have any more symptoms. He's not crying anymore. He's not pulling at his ear anymore. Not to mention his hips. He was only crawling with one leg. My associate adjusted his ilium, and the next day he was crawling with both legs. So that's pretty friggin' immediate in my opinion. But I understand. For example, let's say if you went another route and said, hey, I'm not getting pregnant, or I'm not sustaining my pregnancy full term. What should I do instead? What's the fastest thing you could do is maybe IVF or maybe a surrogacy. You know, there are different options, but really what the root of the problem is sometimes is coming from your nervous system. And I know that's kind of a trendy word nowadays.
Is it?
At least in California it is.
Nervous system?
Nervous system.
Like your vagus nerve or like?
Well, your entire spinal column with the nerves that travel in between each bone.
Okay, so you're picking up traction here.
Yes,
this is good, but probably misused if they get too popular.
Exactly. There are lots of people, definitely here in California and in San Diego, who talk about like, you know, breathing techniques to benefit your nervous system, or, you know, dietary things to improve your nervous system, when really chiropractic is directly correlated to changing the pattern of your nervous system quite immediately. So the reason I bring that up is because you have your parasympathetic nerves, your parasympathetic nervous system, and your sympathetic nervous system. To get adjusted, will turn on one of those nervous systems and then relax one of those other nervous systems. So you had experienced loss. It was probably really holding on strongly in your body. And so your sympathetic nerves, your fight or flight, were like, oh, so tense and stressed, and maybe making you just a more stressful person at that time. But to get adjusted was turning on your parasympathetic nerves, which is your rest and digest, your procreate, your nourishing nervous system, and maybe allowed for this baby to come into the world, because now your nervous system as the mother was in a state of actually sustaining the pregnancy. And not to mention the release you were talking about of your low back. So women's...
I cried.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They put this thing, you're like a chokehold thing, and there's like multiple people, and they're like, whatever you do, don't move. And I'm like, now I want to move. And they laid me down on a table, and like they count, but he pulled before the count was done to trick me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was probably like
to relax. Yeah.
I'm not able to relax probably. And so they yanked this thing, and I just felt like tingles and oxygen, just this like massive release in my body, and I wept.
Right.
I just cried. And so going back to what you're saying, that I was probably stuck in that fight or flight, and that just released this emotional, physically and like emotionally, this just, what the heck happened? And I don't even know if I felt like calm. I just felt like, whoa.
A release.
Like the only word I can describe it.
Your sympathetic nerves got a break. And then your parasympathetic nerves were like, oh, now I can actually, you know, start improving the quality of your life. And if getting pregnant is included in that, then God willing, that's what's going to happen. And women, our nerves that go to our uterus are the same nerves that go to a man's erectile, their penis and their prostate. It's S2, S3, S4.
Like in your lower back?
In your low back where your tailbone is. So what we're sitting on all day when we're on the computer, or what we're sitting on driving, is getting smushed all day long. And so, no kidding, so many women have a hard time getting pregnant. No kidding, so many men have a hard time having an erection or, performing sexually, because these nerves that are irritated are essentially a sciatica, but maybe it's not pain yet. Maybe it's not a true sciatica yet. Maybe it's
non-symptomatic, but there's something there.
Maybe it's more of like an organ issue that you think, oh my gosh, I have to go to my OBGYN, or I have to go to this proctologist, when it's like, wow, did I really just need to go to the chiropractor instead? I mean, that's kind of an easier, faster solution, if you ask me.
Yeah. What do you see with perimenopause in chiropractic care?
So that is always difficult when it comes to hormones, because those are ever changing, and they're not only related to your uterus, right? It's like, what about your thyroid? What about your pineal gland? But thankfully, chiropractic is holistic care. We look at your whole entire body. So even though we're only adjusting a few bones, it's essentially aligning your whole entire spine, your whole entire body, so that your whole body can actually function, versus if we're only looking at your estrogen or only looking at your progesterone. It's like, okay, what about all these other hormones? I mean, even melatonin is a hormone. And if that's being, affected by different glands in your body, then at least the chiropractor is making sure that your entire body is working properly. And then whatever a healthy body does naturally, it is allowed to happen.
It's able to function and kind of allow those organs and those hormones to produce exactly what they need.
Right.
Without having to supplement. Yeah. So Definitely. It's doing its job.
Yeah.
Basically. And you help with aligning that. Okay. So tell me about your pregnancy.
I have an interesting story. I have an interesting outlook on pregnancy.
Oh, let's hear it. We're here for it. Give it to us.
And I mean, I might as well. Should I just be like 100% truthful?
This
on
is
the
Unfiltered
podcast?
Grace and Truth.
It sure is.
We can make it 18
sure
and up,
is.
and we can do whatever you need to. So go for it.
Even better, it doesn't have to be. It's not a exclusive story. It's more that I believe the body was created immaculately by God. I think God is the only healer. God is the only one who's making decisions other than myself for my body. And for that reason, I knew that if I were to get pregnant, if I were to have a baby, I wouldn't want any unearthly things being injected into my baby. I wouldn't want any unearthly things
being
injected
vaccines?
into me. Yeah.
Okay, I'm down for that.
So when I was like 24 is when I started chiropractic school. And chiropractors are very known to be naturally minded with their bodies. And that's when I first started learning about vaccine injuries. And it wasn't even about the vaccines themselves. It was about
the timing
and the rush of toxins that were going into your immaculate baby that was just born.
Immediately after birth, you're like, hey, let me throw these metals and toxins into you. I don't even know if you have allergies or any issues.
Exactly.
But I'm going to give you the first 3 that a child is born with. And so we're going off filter here.
Unfiltered.
And I'm down for it. The first 3 things that you get when your child is born is the K vitamin,
right?
Which is an injection.
Yep.
And then they get hepatitis B.
Yep.
And then they also get this IGU that they get,
erythromycin,
which is for a sexually transmitted disease.
Both of those, the Hep B too,
and the IGU. And then Special K. Special K is one that they don't want. They really want you to get, especially if you have a boy. So you're going to obviously have to go in with that mindset,
right? Because
it helps with blood clotting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a doctor. She is. Take advice from whomever you subscribe to as your doctor. But here we are. But again, when I didn't do it with my second, they were like, you need to sign this documentation. And I was like, yeah, if my pen runs out of ink, get me a new one. I'm not giving her medication. I'm not doing this.
Right.
And the IGU, I see so many women that just go for it simply because they don't know any better. And it's just protocol.
Right.
They just kind of do the natural, like and I had hospital births, but we refused all of the vaccines.
Good for you.
Thankfully, Texas was easier than here.
Right.
And you can delay them. Like some people are all for vaccines, and I agree, but I don't agree with the schedule in which it is enforced. And if you miss, so let's say you miss your 3-month checkup and you missed your vaccines, then you come into your 6 or 9 month checkup and they're like, oh, well, let's catch you up. So here's another 10 vaccines that we're going to pump into your little baby
all at once.
Who doesn't even eat solid foods. So we don't even know if he's allergic to avocado, but let me just really inject him with as much as I possibly can. They don't, and the script for all, I'm sorry, I love it. I get crazy with vaccines.
Me too. Well, that's why we're talking about it. It literally changed my life, for the better. So I hear you.
Yeah. So they give you this, like the list of like causes and effects. And there's all these like lawsuits and protections from the doctors and the pharmaceuticals and ways to make money. But so you 20s, and we don't vaccinate our kids. We're not vaccinated.
Good for you.
And it's a lot easier in Texas.
Exactly. I have so many friends who moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Texas, South Carolina, Florida.
Yes.
There's my friends are leaving.
Easier places. And I'll tell you a story about my daughter, McKinley, real quick. And then I want to hear your story. But McKinley got her finger slammed in a door and it was like dangling. And so we went to the hospital and I went in, I was praying. So we went to the first hospital and they sent us to this other hospital. I was with our nanny and Parker, my baby, was like itty bitty, like nursing. I had to take her with me, driving with McKinley's finger falling off. 45 minutes. We get to the hospital. I'm praying. We get to the ER and the guy comes out and he's got a mask on. I'm like, oh, Lord, did you not hear my prayer? Like, who is this guy? Like, why does he like have a mask on?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so frustrated. And I go in thinking it's going to be a horror experience. Horrible. And so the doctors come in and they are like asking me questions. Well, they had like a series of nurses. It's now midnight. This happened at 5. I'm exhausted. My kids have socks on like up to here, wrapped in blankets. I'm nursing one, holding another. She's plugged to IVs because they have to sedate her to put it on.
Right.
Anyway, these nurses kept coming in and I said, listen, I truly appreciate everything you've done for my daughter. I know that you believe in these vaccines and you stand for them. And there's no way to pull out the tetanus. They had to give the MMR, or they had to give it had multiple things in it. Tdap. And so I said, I know that you believe in this, and I appreciate you advocating for my daughter because you believe in this so much. But I'm choosing not to allow my daughter to have this vaccine, and we're gonna just sign whatever we need to sign. But I'd like for her to go for the surgery. They waited an hour trying to convince me. I'm sitting there, and I'm so tired. The guy with the mask turns around, he pulls his mask down. He said, the only reason I'm wearing this is because I don't believe in vaccines.
Oh,
and I have to wear this. It's a mandate from the hospital.
Right.
And he came over and he gave me a big hug. He was like, I'm so proud of you, Mama. You advocate for these babies. You tell them, I'm so sorry I couldn't interject, but I'm already outcast with this mask and against them. So he couldn't say anything to me, but like God put him there and he just held me and I just like wept. I was like, I just want my baby to like have her surgery. Yeah. But I had to do an hour worth of deliberating with the nurse team. So anyway, okay. So your story, tell me all about it. I am with you.
And not to mention, so we talked about vitamin K. I have another mom friend who is an amazing advocate, mother, Christian. Her precious son, who is doing well nowadays, he had a brain infection from the vitamin K shot. So many moms are like, but this one's just vitamin K. I'll say yes to that. He had encephalitis from it and he is now autistic. And she is such a proactive mother that he's doing really well. He does all these different innovative therapies, but he is an autistic person from this brain infection that he had as a baby, as a newborn baby.
And the reason boys are really prone to getting the K and moms are talked into it is because of circumcision, because of the blood clot. So if you're going to remove that skin, they want to make sure that their blood is whatever that special K is
coagulating.
Yes. Wow, what a fun word.
And you can choose. So I've
coagulating so you can get circumcised.
I know. I've purchased vitamin K drops. Yes. There's a whole protocol to it. Actually, if you're not religiously doing a circumcision as some cultures do
8 days.
In 8 days, you can wait like 3 months to get the circumcision. And by that time, baby's vitamin K is just fine.
Right. So you just delay the process, let your baby kind of come out, let them reacclimate to their new environment. Right. And you can do it in a delay. So all of this is not to say pro or for anything. Right. It's just to give you the opportunity to know that you get to advocate for yourself as a woman and for your child as their mother. So if you want the vitamin K, she just offered 2 suggestions, the drops or a delayed circumcision. Fine, do that. But make sure when you go into those situations that you're prepared. Even a natural birth is hard. Yeah. I told them when I had my 2nd and 3rd naturally, I said, listen, I know you have an epidural on hand and somebody that can come in and do that. I will ask for it. Please don't offer it. Because in my weakest moment, when they're like, this is the last chance you get. And it's like, well, that's fine. But like, I'm in excruciating pain giving birth. Please don't offer me a solution to my problem. What I want is natural. Right. So again, all of this is just about advocacy. Totally. And supporting your body and going in with the mindset, like, no matter what, this is what I want. Now, obviously, if there's a cord issue or baby's flip, there's ways to kind of navigate that. McKinley came out with a cord on her neck. But again, just knowing, getting a doula. Doulas are amazing. But okay, so tell me about your getting pregnant.
Love it. So, okay, when I was about 24, my sister had her first pregnancy. I have a niece and a nephew. And I sat down with my sister and my mom and dad. And they basically like gave me an intervention. And they were like, you need to vaccinate your kids. Otherwise, they can't play with your niece and nephew.
Oh, your kids.
So if I were to, my like,
imaginary
future imaginary kids. So I introduced to them the idea of, hey, a lot of these vaccine reactions lead to long-term problems. You should question, the schedule that's provided. And they basically were like, if you choose to have kids and not vaccinate them, they can't play with the cousins. And I immediately was like, I won't have kids. And that was at 24 years old. And for the next decade, I had this idea, like, I'm not going to have kids because I don't want to deal with the repercussions of not vaccinating them or getting this pushback from society. Not only my family, from society. Society hates it when you have a different idea than them. And so more than a decade later, I met my now life partner who also had a kid in a different time of his life, followed whatever was recommended at that time. Thank God she's like beautiful and healthy and all of the great things. But when we met, I was like, hey, if you and I ever have a kid, I'm not vaccinating them and I'm having a home birth. And these are just the boundaries that I've set for myself. And after actually that first conversation, he was like, okay, sounds good. And then once we really decided to start trying, he was like, yep, I'm on board. We're going to be homeschooling. We're going to have a water birth in our living room. Like, this baby is going to be immaculately conceived. And we didn't have any problems getting pregnant, even though he was told, in another time of his life, his late wife was not able to get pregnant. They had to do a lot of medical interventions. He was told that maybe he was contributing to that inability to get pregnant with us. No, it happened pretty quickly. We were so quickly that we were like, is that real? And yes, it was. So God wants us to have a little boy.
I love that.
Thank you.
So talk to me about your faith, like how faith is intertwined with chiropractic care and like, the word immaculate. Can you describe what that is? Because you've used that word multiple times.
Yes.
And I know that from immaculate conception with Jesus Christ, we read it in the book of Luke, I guess, in Christmas time, or, we talk about immaculate conception. And that's not a word that we use often, but you've used it multiple times. So give me a definition of that and then how faith and chiropractic care coexist for you.
Yes. When I met Jen, I was like, I want to be on your podcast because faith has so much to do with chiropractic. And I don't mean belief. I mean faith in God and in the existence of God and a already perfect human being being able to create another already perfect human being. I grew up Catholic, very passive Catholic. My parents were like very hardcore Catholics in the Philippines. And so by the time they had kids, it was just like holidays and things. And so when I really needed support, I would find myself going to Catholic church, but still very passive.
Which is a big word for the Catholic Church.
Right.
The Virgin Mary and Immaculate Conception, that is a big word in the Catholic.
I'm going like every scale of all of these words. So when I was in chiropractic school, I had already almost like abandoned any faith that I had. I was always a Jesus follower. I was always a God believer, but it was like, I don't need to go to church. I don't need to read the Bible. It was just not on my mind, basically. And when I entered chiropractic school and just saw the black and white, straightforward miracles that the body does, there's no way that was not created immaculately. There's no way that was not created with intention and self-healing and innate intelligence. Those are all chiropractic terms that I believe are God-given terms. It's like there's no way that evolution or we got our brains from monkeys or whatever to evolve into what we are today. I think it had to have been a God-sent miracle. And for all of the trillions of people in the world to have a fairly, similar experience with their bodies and what they're able and capable to do, it has to be, you have to believe in God. You have to believe in God.
So I'm going to ask a tough question.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask this on behalf of the girls on the other end of the screen. If I believe in God and yet I can't get pregnant, how do I make that right?
So this is where chiropractic can help with your anatomy and can, uplift your belief in Christ. So on my little sticker, it says, expect miracles.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, put that right there. I love that. I want that. I need that sticker in my life.
The founder of chiropractic, it was BJ and Dee Dee Palmer. It was a father and son. So essentially, they said chiropractors are not healers. God is the healer. Chiropractors are removing any interference from your brain and the rest of your body. And we just enhance that self-healing that God already gave you. And that's really as simple as it gets. It kind of pisses me off when people are like, I'm a Reiki healer. I'm a healer.
I did Reiki.
Wait, so have I. I've definitely gone to people.
I've been woo.
Right. The term healer for me is exclusive to God because I'm not even a healer. If anything, I'm a chiropractor, removing the subluxation from your spine. Now your body can heal itself. It was created that way by somebody else, not me. So for a woman who is having a hard time getting pregnant or sustaining a pregnancy, or for their partner having the same issue, it's not that they were created with a problem. It's that they have now fallen into this pattern of some kind of lifestyle or some kind of injury that's happening to their body, and a chiropractor can help them get out of that cycle, and then maybe they'll get pregnant.
So it's really cool. We started this podcast in April and we're now filming in June. And I've had probably 10 episodes, maybe less. And 2 girls from our podcast have become pregnant. And one of them really struggled with IVF and doing all this stuff. And I lead a group of infertility and pregnancy loss. Mm-hmm. And this girl was like, I've been praying for something. I've been praying and praying and praying. And I brought in a chiropractor to speak over and speak to the girls and to just like encourage them. And she started seeing the chiropractor, and she's now like
amazing,
pregnant.
Oh, I love that.
And it's incredible because when, again, and I always tell them, you need to advocate, because a lot of them will come to this place and they're like, the doctors have told me there's no hope. And that's okay. The doctors have also told me there's no hope with depression and anxiety. And so sertraline is the option. And maybe for a season when you're postpartum and you're not able to take care of yourself, but to get back off of that, you really have to fight the good fight for yourself and to eat and to supply what your body needs and not to just say, but there is a route for IVF and there is a route for IUI. And again, I have come to the term in my own heart, as I a couple years ago, I was sitting with these girls and I was like, Lord, in order for me to show up for them in the right way, I need to make sure that I'm not misleading anybody when it comes to IVF or IUI. And for 3 months, I couldn't lead the group. I couldn't talk about it. Like I was completely silent. And I was really struggling. I was really sad. It was like a very hard place for me to be. And eventually when God finally spoke to me, he said, I'm the giver of life. Even through IVF, you can't guarantee a pregnancy. There's not a scientific formula in which we can create life apart from God. So we can do all the things, but he's the giver of life. And so I rest in that. And if somebody wants to do IVF or surrogacy or however they're going to come into this place, God is the ultimate one in control. And I'm okay with that for their story. And I think that was really hard for me, but I do think that, you know, taking care of yourself physically, but also emotionally. So speak to that. Cause you said you had some neck pain and college and there was some anxiety and depression, which all goes into that chiropractic nervous system. Like, does chiropractic help with that?
Yes. And I'll definitely go into that. But real quick, a lot of those mechanistic medical doctors or medical procedures, they look at your body as a machine that may have some issue that needs to be fixed. And
like what?
Let's say, like if you're not able to get pregnant and it must be your hormones like we need to be injecting the hormone directly into your uterus, whatever it may be. That would be mechanistic. There's a problem. I'm going to fix it. I have my car broke down. I'm going to take it to a mechanic.
Good example.
Versus chiropractors were vitalistic and we are looking at life and what's life-giving. How can we put light into your life? How can it heal itself so that this thing that you're having a problem with never happens ever again? So the intention of like what kind of provider you go to, whether it is a chiropractor or a medical doctor or an osteopath, their philosophy really does affect your outcome. And I had a beautiful patient. She was literally the first patient I ever had to actually like pay me money. And she never even questioned. I was a brand new chiropractor. She never questioned my like newbie-ness. She had 9 little heart tattoos on her foot. And I learned that those were for each of the losses that she had experienced. And I told her within those first few visits, I was like, honestly, if you're going to be under chiropractic care, maybe you'll be able to get pregnant soon enough. And she already had 1 healthy little boy. And thank God she saw me fairly sporadically for about 3 years. She had 1 healthy little boy. She ended up adopting this beautiful girl from Texas. And after probably a year of chiropractic care, she got pregnant and has another healthy little girl. So now she has 3 kids. And it was never even a question of, is there a problem? It was like, okay, how can we enhance your health? How can we remove your subluxations from your body? How can your body heal itself? And maybe you'll get pregnant. And then when she did, it was like, we kind of looked at each other just like, yeah. We knew it. We knew this, we knew there was no problem. There was something in the way, but was that, how could we remedy this? And so she just kept getting adjusted. It was cool.
Are you able to adjust now that you're pregnant?
Why
did you laugh? That was so too hot.
I took a 2-month maternity leave. Like I stopped practicing
pre-maternity.
Pre-maternity leave.
So end of pregnancy, because it's hard. It's hard on your body.
Chiropractic
hours are very like, they'll see like multiple patients. Sometimes you walk into a room, there's like multiple adjustments. And so you can see a lot of people at once.
Right.
And then they take this like 2 or 3 hour off because it's not just an adjustment on our body, but it's physically straining on yours. You have to I'm actually really hard to adjust.
Some people are.
It's just this weird, I'm hard to adjust. So I typically go to like a stronger person, chiropractor, could be male or female, just making sure that they're able to really make that adjustment for me.
Totally. I hired an awesome associate. She had her own practice in Temecula. And when she wanted to move down to San Diego, I was like, hey, you want to work for me? Like, I've got all these patients for you. And so she's a better chiropractor than me. So I was like, you take it. Like,
that's awesome.
It made me more confident taking my maternity leave to, I don't know when I'm going to go back, because I know she's so capable. So thank God. But I still adjust my boyfriend and his daughter, obviously I'm still doing some adjustments, but no, I'm really happy to not be working in the office.
So somebody's watching right now and they're like, okay, I've had all these infertility things. I've gone through all this stuff. Like, give us maybe 3 things to look for in a chiropractor. I think it's critical that, because not every chiropractor is the same. Like there's this place in Austin that I went to before I found Dr. Pittman. It's like a cracker or crack it, or it's like this like
franchise or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just kind of go and you get this basic adjustment and you leave. It's very different than when I go see Micah and he's just like all about the body and he talks about like methylated blue and nicotine patches and like anti-vaccines and just like, he really does care about the body as a whole.
Right.
And so I can go in and he has this like metal thing down my back. So finding him was just pure luck. I guess that's my faith, meaning that God brought me to him is what I meant to say. But he's amazing. And I wouldn't know how to find the proper chiropractor.
Right.
So give us some things to look for if somebody's struggling with infertility specifically or a depression or some of the things that we talked about and wants to really align their body with a biblical understanding of God creating, God healing, chiropractor being the vessel. What are we looking for?
Definitely. We joked that this little sticker, it's got to be in every chiropractor or in the good chiropractor's office. It says, expect miracles. That is like 150-year-old term that D.D. Palmer and B.J. Palmer would basically like use as a motto, expect miracles. That's just like a funny little good cue. One thing on like websites and stuff or on their Instagram, if it says like nervous system based chiropractor, subluxation based chiropractor, that's an easy green flag. Also, a lot of times people who are passionate about fertility happen to be female chiropractors, and those people usually will also market themselves as women's health chiropractors, fertility chiropractors, prenatal, perinatal, Webster certified chiropractors. Those are also other just like green flag terms.
Webster
technique is the technique that you use on pregnant women.
Okay, got it.
And then maybe a third question, if you want to actually call the office, you can just literally ask, be like, is your chiropractor in the office philosophically based, or are they a, mechanistic chiropractor, or are they I
don't know what any of that means.
Right. If you literally...
I wouldn't even know what to say. I'd be like, do you expect miracles? I'm coming in. I'm here for a miracle. Like, I've actually filled out a form. And so let me say this. I filled out a form. Cash Lewis was the chiropractor that I went to when I got pregnant with McKinley. And they ask like what you're here for. And they have a picture of the body. And I put pregnancy, getting knocked up. Like that was it. Like I wanted to feel better. I wanted to just like heal my body, and I wanted to have another baby. Like I really didn't have I can't come in and be like, oh, my shoulder hurts. It's like, no, like my womb is empty and I'm begging God for a miracle. And so he's like, we can work around those, but that's not like, I can't adjust your sore neck the same way I can provide for the baby. He's like, your husband will contribute. And I was like, yes. He's like, but you can say, if you get pregnant, my chiropractor got me pregnant. And so give us like maybe a little bit more like third grade level of what those terms are.
I know those are all jargon. Oh, another jargon.
I wouldn't even know how to spell that. I'd be like, just tell me, can you help me get pregnant?
So, okay. If you were to call the office and say, this is actually even a worse piece of advice, but I think it's probably good. Be like, do you take insurance? And if they say no, then they're probably a good chiropractor.
That's so funny. I love that.
No, that's nobody's going to be happy to hear that. But if they take insurance, they're probably just like went to chiropractic school because they didn't get into PT school or something.
That's so funny. I do see that a lot with like mental health professionals. It's like when they take insurance, it's different. But I will say Micah does take insurance and it's amazing.
Thank God. Okay.
He does. He's still like off the cuff, but I know that there's like a policy and procedure. But this is also in Texas.
Right.
It's funny because whenever something's not FDA approved, I'm like, oh, how do I get that? Like, where's the pharmacy? Yeah. I can like buy ivermectin or get one thing that's like not FDA unapproved items are my favorite. And
there's always Mexico.
Yes.
We're very close.
We're so close.
I
saw a commercial for veneers and I was like, can I go get some teeth?
I know plenty of girls. Actually, I know a vitalistic chiropractor in TJ who works with a like holistic biodental dentist. And so basically anything you're looking for, you can find it just 45 minutes south.
I got to call Grandma and ask her to send me my passport.
Oh, gosh.
Grandma, if you're watching this, send me my passport. I'm going to get a new neck and some teeth.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my. Yeah. Among other things. Who knows? Okay, let me think of a better non-controversial piece of advice when you're looking for a good chiropractor. Be like, does your chiropractor work with the spine and the nervous system to improve self-healing?
There we go. That's good. That's a good thing.
That chart you were talking about, it's called a chart of effects, or if it says autonomic nervous system and it looks like the side view of a spine, and then it has like the different nerve attachments to different organs and things, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, those are really good things. So I do think we're going to link in the show notes, different ways to connect with you personally if you're in the San Diego area. But if you're in a different city or state, reach out to us. We would love for you to get the healing capacity and support that you need for your pregnancy journey, for your mental health support, like whatever it is that you're struggling with. I do think chiropractic care is a piece of that. There's also prayer, meditation, just spending time with the people within your community, stepping into a community and saying like, hey, I'm really struggling with this. So you're not doing it alone. Because chiropractic care, you can go all day long, but yet you're still struggling in your faith and you're isolated and you're struggling with, is God going to do this? And it's having advocates that say like, we're expecting a miracle. Like, I love that as somebody who sits with women who are really hopeless at times. They just don't have the capacity to even believe in that miracle, to say that like, I'm expecting this miracle for you and I want this and I'm going to walk it out. Like, that's what this podcast is for. And that's what we have. So any final words of wisdom or anything you want to share before we leave for today?
We talked about so many things, but I didn't answer your one question about anxiety and depression. And that was the introduction of, my spine is more important than just the bones. My neck used to be like all the way forward. My posture was so gross. And I see that in 12-year-old kids. I see that in 20-year-olds. If there is pressure on your neck and head, on your spinal cord, then of course you're going to have a fight or flight because that's where those nerves come out. If you are having like ruminating thoughts, anxiety, if you're losing your faith, because you're like, why is this happening to me? Only bad things are happening. I'm so depressed all the time. It's a fairly easy fix to just have the alignment of your neck and the alignment of your head come further back over your shoulders with the assistance with a chiropractor and with different exercises and yada, yada. That will just relieve any spinal cord tension that could literally be the start of you going downhill or you starting to heal, because your spinal cord is your lifeline, right? And it's all coming from your neck. And I know all of us were on our computers, we're looking down at baby, we're looking at the kitchen counter, whatever, just to get your head over your neck literally could be the start of the easiest fix to improving your health.
And that takes multiple sessions.
Yeah, I mean, truly, when
learning, so I was told that shoulders up, back, down.
Yeah.
Is good posture.
Yeah.
So put your shoulders up towards your ear, run them back, and then let them rest. And that is good posture to keep your head and your neck in proper positioning.
Totally. This whole like hunched over the computer thing, you're going to have some hardcore anxiety, maybe some depression, depending on what's going on in your life, trouble sleeping, headaches, those kinds of things. And yes, chiropractic helps me with those symptoms, but then also my faith in God, my faith in myself really are what changed my life and got me to be on this podcast with you today.
That's amazing. And you're pregnant.
And I'm pregnant. I'm about to have a baby. Like within the next month. July 1st, one of my patients who's due around the same time as me, she's already 2 centimeters dilated. So I was like, I could be 2 centimeters dilated.
So natural birth, home birth. Do you have doula? You have a midwifery? Your boyfriend's jumping in. How are you having this baby?
I'm also a doula. I've witnessed 23 natural births. So I actually chose not to have a doula. I have a team of midwives. I'm going to have a birth pool in the living room. My boyfriend took hypnobirthing classes with me. I'm as prepared for birth as I could possibly be. It's motherhood. That'll be another episode. That I don't know anything about.
It's so funny when I was pregnant with my first, I was like every little fruit was like a carrot or a grape or this or that. Like you kind of grow through the fruits, and then the baby's here, and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Yeah.
And now I have 3, and I'm just like, I hear my little one crying, and I'm like, oh great, she's alive. You know, what the first one is like crying, and I would feel like I literally could feel her crying, and it would hurt me. Like it would just like be so close. So I think you grow in wisdom and discernment over your children after you've been around them. But I had never been around a baby. I'm the youngest of 5.
Right.
I didn't really change diapers. I didn't know what I was doing. So motherhood was way scarier than even pregnancy, because I didn't have any issues, although they told me I had a low egg reserve and a blocked fallopian tube. And so those 2 issues gave me a 3% chance to conceive naturally.
Wow.
And 4 months later, we were pregnant.
Amazing.
And so I do believe in miracles. I do believe in God's intervention and his just intention and timing, his perfect timing with the right person.
Exactly.
You know, like your boyfriend had these like things spoken over him. And we know people in our area in our ministry that have had things spoken over them, and we release that. Like set yourself free of those infertility diagnoses. The girls in my group are trying to change it from infertility to our fertility group.
I love
just that terminology.
I love that.
It's just saying like, you know what, like I'm not going to take this diagnosis and claim it. I'm just going to say, hey, you know what, I'm fertile and I'm praying and I'm trusting the Lord. Are you a mom? Like that question. It's like, oh, are you a mom? How many kids do you have? It's like, not yet, because that gives that opportunity of hope. And that's where the Spirit can intercede and be like, not yet, because you believe in miracles. So I loved having you on.
That was so fun.
I don't know if I can get you back before you have this baby, but I feel like
we have 3 weeks of you here, right?
I would love to just, I don't know what else we could talk about.
More?
Everything.
Something else?
We'll figure it out, but I'd love to have you back on. And then when I come back out after you have that baby,
I'll have him here. Maverick.
Maverick what?
Maverick Lewis French.
Yes.
Cute. So I'll have him in a baby carrier, and then we'll do episode 5.
And maybe we can have you back on just to talk to the moms, like in chiropractic care, like colic.
Definitely.
And if they have a C-section or natural birth and the neck is kind of pulled out, or VBAC, there's so many things that happen traumatically during birth.
Right.
And then that healing process. So certain things, the ear infection is great. Like we could talk to those who have had children, even vaccine aversions or just like things that have come of that. So we'll figure something out.
Okay.
But I loved having you
so
on.
Fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ruthie.
Yes,
thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
What a good connection.
Love it.